Imagine waking up one morning and realizing you can no longer speak your native language. Instead, a completely different language, one you've never even studied, is flowing from your mouth. Sounds like something out of a science fiction movie, right? But for one American man, this bizarre scenario became his reality. This is the incredible story of Michael Boatwright, the man who woke up speaking only Swedish. Let's rewind to 2013. A man is found unconscious in a motel room in Palm Springs, California. He has no identification, nothing to tell the police who he is. When he finally wakes up in the hospital, the staff are baffled. The man, who they assume is American, can only speak fluent Swedish. He introduces himself as Johan Ek. The problem, no one can find any record of a Johan Ek. He has no memory of his past, his family, or how he ended up in that motel room. All he knows is that he is Swedish. The hospital staff and authorities were stumped. They put his picture in the news, hoping someone would recognize him. The story went viral, traveling all the way to Sweden. People there were fascinated. Journalists and amateur detectives started digging, trying to solve the mystery of Johan Ek. Was he a Swedish tourist who had a terrible accident? An immigrant who had lost his way? After months of searching, the truth was finally uncovered, and it was far stranger than anyone could have imagined. The man calling himself Johan Ek was actually Michael Boatwright, a US Navy veteran from Florida. He had no Swedish ancestry. He had never even visited Sweden. So how on earth was he speaking perfect Swedish? His sister, who eventually saw his photo in the news, was just as confused. She confirmed he was Michael, but the man in the hospital bed didn't recognize her. To him, he was still Johan. Doctors diagnosed Michael with a rare condition known as transient global amnesia, brought on by severe emotional or physical trauma. In Michael's case, it was likely a combination of both. This condition caused him to lose his entire personal identity, effectively wiping his memory slate clean. But that still doesn't explain the Swedish. This is where things get even more fascinating and enter the realm of a very rare neurological phenomenon called foreign accent syndrome. Now, foreign accent syndrome is exactly what it sounds like. It's a condition, usually following a brain injury like a stroke or head trauma, where a person suddenly starts speaking their native language with what sounds like a foreign accent. There have been documented cases of British people waking up sounding French, or Americans sounding Irish. But Michael's case was on a whole other level. He wasn't just speaking with a Swedish accent. He was speaking the Swedish language itself, and had completely lost his ability to speak English. This is incredibly rare, almost unheard of. So, where did the Swedish come from? This is the million-dollar question that neurologists and linguists are still debating. The leading theory goes back to Michael's past. Friends and family recall that he had a brief romantic relationship with a Swedish woman in his youth, back in the 1980s. He had also spent some time in Sweden during his military service. Now, Michael never claimed to be fluent. He might have picked up a few phrases, some basic vocabulary, just enough to get by. The theory is that the brain injury didn't magically teach him a new language. Instead, it seems to have damaged the neural pathways connected to his native language, English, while simultaneously unlocking or disinhibiting the latent, subconscious memories of the Swedish he had been exposed 2 decades earlier. Think of it like a computer's operating system crashing. The primary system, English, went offline. In T-reboot, the brain latched onto the only other available linguistic data it could find, this dormant Swedish knowledge, and made it the new default. Essentially, his brain rewired itself. The parts of his brain that controlled language, like Broca's area and Wernicke's area, had undergone a dramatic shift. The trauma might have created new connections, bringing this long-forgotten language to the forefront of his consciousness. It wasn't a miracle. It was a bizarre and complex neurological glitch. He wasn't just faking it. Brain scans and extensive testing confirmed the profound changes in his cognitive function. For Michael, life as Johan Ek was a struggle. He was in a country where he couldn't understand anyone, and no one could understand him. He felt isolated and terrified. Imagine being a stranger in your own body, in your own life. He had no connection to the photos of his past, no recognition of the family that claimed him. He was a man without a country, without a past, trapped between 2 identities. Eventually, with the help of social workers and his family, Michael was flown back to Florida. But the transition wasn't easy. He had to slowly, painstakingly relearn English, his own mother tongue. It was like a child learning to speak for the first time. The Swedish, once so fluent, began to fade as his English improved. It was a slow and arduous process of rebuilding his identity from scratch. He had to get to know his family all over again and piece together the life of Michael Boatwright. a man he didn't remember being. Michael's story is a profound reminder of the brain's incredible complexity and fragility. It shows us how deeply our language is tied to our identity and sense of self. A blow to the head didn't just injure him physically. It stripped him of his entire personal history and replaced it with another. It forced him to confront the question, who are we without our memories? Cases like Michael's, while extremely rare, give scientists a unique window into the workings of the human brain. They challenge our understanding of memory, language, acquisition, and consciousness itself. How can memories we don't even know we have suddenly become our primary mode of communication? It suggests that our brains store far more information than we are consciously aware of, locked away in deep recesses, waiting for a trigger. The story of the man who woke up speaking Swedish is more than just a medical curiosity. It's a human story about loss, identity, and the remarkable, sometimes terrifying, plasticity of the human brain. It serves as a stark illustration that the person we are today is a delicate construction of memory and experience, one that can be altered in the blink of an eye. Michael Boatwright passed away in 2014, but his unbelievable story continues to fascinate and baffle people around the world. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this story as incredible as I did, please hit that like button and subscribe for more explorations into the mysteries of the human mind. Let me know in the comments what you think about this case.